Hello. Welcome to our virtual PLC number 7. I am your virtual PLC lead, Sandra Bell McCroy, and I am looking forward to talking with you today about end of year things. All right, so let's jump right into this month's first PL. So we're almost there. We're going to focus today on end of the year activities and projects. Things like placement auditions, music theory post tests, spring concerts and banquets and senior tributes, end of year recaps for students and teachers, all of the things. So, we're going to go over some of the things that we do at my school to wrap up our end of the year. Now, this year is really unique, as was last year. These are unconventional end of the year activities, but we're going to make it happen. All right, so the first end of the year activity that we'll talk about is placement auditions. And I talked about this in a previous webinar when I talked about diagnostic assessments. We use our placement auditions as a big diagnostic assessment to figure out where everyone is so that we can meet them where they are and take them where they need to go. So we always have students perform select scales, etude that we choose for them, and a short sight reading that we create for them. And we base those, the audition on the GSE. So we look at the standards and we want the audition to match what they should be able to do in the class. So we're not expecting them to um, meet all of those standards because it's they're auditioning for something that's in front of them, most of them, but we want to see where they land. I've linked in here an example of our band auditions, and I'll just talk you through it. For example, for our one of our groups, we have them play, I believe it's like 4 or 6 scales, however many octaves they can feel comfortable with the arpeggio. Then we give them a short little etude that comes from the back of the book, one of the method books that we use. And then we find a little sight reading that we pull from a little method book or an etudes book. And it's just really simple, really focusing on rhythm, staying within the confines of what they should be able to read for that class. And we make those auditions really specific. So they get to choose which band they want to audition into. Now, why is this important? Why is it so important to conduct these placement auditions? Well, in my opinion, I've found that as much as they complain about these auditions, students really do want you to notice them and they're playing, and they love getting that feedback. Pardon me. They love getting that feedback about their playing. So, um, placement auditions always provide me the opportunity to interact with each student one-on-one while they're especially when they're in 8th grade. It's really important. I want them to feel like they know me a little bit before they get into the program, so they feel a little more at ease. And so when you're able to do those placement auditions, you go from 8th grade to 11th grade listening to each and every student. Luckily now I have an assistant band director, but I have been alone before and did all of the auditions myself. It takes a very long time and it takes commitment, but it's important, I think, because this, like I said, the students really do want to be noticed and they want you to pay attention to their playing, whether they admit it or not. And so the next thing that we do is a music theory post test or final exam. We use it as their final exam or half of their final exam. And we like to use that data to figure some things out. So we use a music theory test at the end of the school year that covers everything, all of the units that we focused on for that year or for that semester. We've recently just gone to a block schedule, 4x4 block or 4-period block. So we have them for semesters. And so we focus on everything that we've covered in the semester, and we build a music theory test that um, reflects that. This is easy to create. I did it for years. So, yeah, it's just finding the resources and then creating a test. Because we are kind of virtual, kind of not, kind of hybrid right now, the test will be a Google form. And so it takes a minute to cut and paste all of those symbols and pictures and all of the things into the form, but it's worth it because we want to know how effective our music theory curriculum was for that semester or for that year. So it's really, yes, it takes up a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to build those tests. It doesn't take that much time to build them when we are in person because they're already pre-created, but it does take a really long time when you are virtual and you're having to make the test in a Google form so everyone can take it that way, and it can be graded automatically. So, but it's worth it. We then take that data and we use it to map out the plan for the next school year. So we don't just look at, okay, how effective was it? Now, where are the gaps? Where can we get better? What can we do better? Where should we take a little more time? Where does it seem like they really got it? And we probably took too much time on that. And so we use that data to kind of map out how we're going to use our curriculum the next school year. So we're always trying to get better. So why is this important? Why does it matter? Music theory matters. And I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit about this because I really feel strongly about it. I do think that we oftentimes forget how important music theory is. I'm just moving myself out of the way there. Students need to understand music theory, and that allows them to truly understand the music that they're performing. So they're not just trained to play the stuff that they see on the page, but they understand why it's happening, why they're doing what they're doing, and the way they're doing it. They get it, they understand it, they understand why it's happening and what they're doing is happening. Not including music theory is like not including spelling in ELA, right? So um, we have to teach them how to read and how to spell. So why would we just teach them how to play and not how to put music together? So music theory is really, really important. And it is a huge part of achieving those standards. And so I'm off my soapbox about music theory. It's just really important. I grew up in the home with a reading teacher. She taught for 31 years. My mom was an awesome educator, and it was really important. Grammar was very important. Phonics were very important. Spelling was very important. Not just how to read, but how to build the words, how to, build sentences, how to put things together. It's so important. So music theory matters. All right, here we go. Moving on. Our third activity is our band concert, our banquet, and our senior tribute. Now, admittedly, this is not going to look the way it typically looks. It is typically a whole thing. The band concert is a separate thing. The band banquet is a separate thing, and it has this, and each one of those events has a senior tribute in it. So we honor our seniors a lot. So, but this year everything is kind of combined. We're not going to banquet because we're not, and we're going to have a virtual concert and a virtual banquet where everyone just shows up in Zoom looking all good, and the seniors come in their caps and gowns. But it's really important to still have all these things. Typically, they're separate events and they're a big to do, and everyone comes out in their Sunday best and looks all fly and stuff. But we decided this year, just out of an abundance of caution, just to keep everything virtual for one more year until we get into a better space. So why does this matter? So that spring band concert, and I actually think this may be at a spring band concert, this picture. it's our opportunity to play music that is a little more fun for the students and the audience. So a lot of times we'll just play a lot of like really fast, really loud music, and everyone seems to enjoy that. We play like pop songs or movie tunes. We'll sometimes have a feature. So a couple of years ago, we had an exceptionally talented alto saxophone player in our band, and he was graduating. And so we had him perform a piece that was for solo alto and band. And so, yeah, it was a great experience. We do stuff like that, that kind of is out of the box. We also use that time to reach the community in different ways. So a few years ago, we had an alumni jazz band come and perform as a surprise to the first band director at Cedar Shoals. His name is on the building, and he opened the building as the first band director there. And he was in, we're only on band director number 4. So um, it's been very few band directors at Cedar Shoals. And so we wanted to honor him. And so the alumni contacted me, and we had an alumni jazz band come and perform in between the student groups. So we had 2 of our bands play. And when he was sitting there waiting for our wind ensemble to start, the curtain opened, and it wasn't our wind ensemble. It was um, his former students. And some of our students as well joined them and played in that jazz band as well. So it was a good time. And we also allow the students to assess their performance and determine how representative it was of their work during the school year. So we allow them the space after the spring concert to kind of just figure out, did that spring concert go well? And if it didn't, why not? Or if it did, why? Why did it go well? Have we been working really hard all year? Or was it kind of an anomaly because we really haven't been working really hard all year? So, what types of things happen throughout the school year or throughout the semester to lead up to that performance, and how can it move them into the next semester? So it's really important for them to break that performance down, not from a like an LGPE fake judge or mock judge like we do with them for those assessments, but to break it down in a way to figure out how their behaviors throughout the year led to that performance, and are they connected to each other, and the result, and how representative that performance was of their school year and the work that they put in as a group and as individuals. And we have those discussions, and they complete a form, but we also talk about it in class. And sometimes the things that they say, hilarious. You just never know what's going to come out of their mouths. They're like, I don't know how in the world we got through that piece. We haven't really practiced all year like that. And I mean, they're very honest, and they'll be honest about their own work ethic and their own contributions. And you'll hear a lot of interesting things. They're going to be much harder on themselves than you ever will be. It's always the case. All right. Now, our band banquet, we typically have this. When I first got to Cedar Shoals, we had it was a thing, lots of food. It was a potluck, all the things. We went to a different model. We went to a catered meal, and everyone just came empty handed, which was great. And we started doing catering, and it was a great event. And people came out, and we celebrated our seniors. So we debuted our marching band show. We gave out awards and all the things. And then COVID happened. And there was no band banquet. So we have had to kind of pivot. That's the word of the year, pivot, and learn how to celebrate our students virtually has been a challenge because the pomp and circumstance isn't there, right? So you're in a little box sitting at your house with your cap and gown on. So it's just not quite the same, but it's better than nothing. So this was our opening slide from last year's band awards and senior tribute. We're actually going to be having this year's band awards and senior tribute, plus our spring concert virtual this Friday. So we're going to be doing all of that virtually, and hopefully it'll be a good time for all. We're encouraging the students to dress up and sit in their little Zoom box with their cute little outfits on, and the seniors have their caps and gowns, and the families all come in and we take pictures and all the things. But we're trying to make it as special as we can. We still give out our awards that we always give out. We still celebrate our students, but it's just a little different now. So why is our band banquet so important? And I had to sit and ask myself this because it's a thing. It is a real thing. We typically don't have, like, some bands have a speaker at their banquet. We don't really have that. I typically do a state of the band address and kind of wrap up our year. And the biggest part is the honoring our seniors. And so we go through and honor each and every senior in the program and talk about each one. We have baby pictures and awkward middle school pictures, and there are senior pictures, and we put all of those up on the screen, and we give each student a moment to be in the spotlight. And so the banquet is a thing for us. And why is that? Well, every accomplishment that the band has had that year, we celebrate. It's all a big deal. Large group is a big deal. Marching competitions are a big deal. Playing at the elementary school is a big deal. I mean, everything is a big deal. And so we celebrate all of those accomplishments, and we announce each kid's name. These students were in concert band for this year. They are, and we go through all of the names. So everybody's baby's name is called, and they all come to the stage. They get their little certificates, and they take a group picture, and it's incredibly awkward, and all of the things, but it is celebrating the band's accomplishments, is celebrating the accomplishments of individual students. So when students are in honor band, all state, solo ensemble, Athens Youth Symphony, Youth Symphony, anything that happens that they do that's above and beyond, we celebrate those accomplishments of those individual band students. And they come to the stage and we take a picture with their little certificates, and it's a thing. This is the big one. The reason our spring band banquet is such a big deal, we debut the marching band show for the next year at the band banquet. So everyone's always waiting on it, and we do it after we've honored our seniors as kind of a jumping into the next year. We announce any trips that we're taking. We announce what the show is going to be. We announce our leadership for marching band. We do all of that. And it's a production. So we make little videos and slideshows and play the music and give them a visual representation of what they're going to be marching, the theme of the show. So that's a huge deal, even for the parents. The parents love it. We give awards for outstanding student work. So every band has students in it that work really hard, and we don't, like, cut it off at just one ninth grader, one 10th grader, one. Nope. If you were, outstanding woodwinds, outstanding brass, outstanding percussion, most improved, all of the things, we want to make sure that every student is celebrated. So we do give out a lot of awards, and then we give out a lot of like legacy awards, of course, like the John Philip Sousa Award. When we have a student that deserves that, we give out a legacy award to a student that has left a mark, an indelible mark on the program. We give out service awards to seniors that have given of themselves to the program. They have been of service and worked really hard. So we do a lot of things like that to celebrate not only the overall accomplishments, but also the individual work of all of the students. And then we definitely pay tribute to our senior band members. It's so important. If you commit yourself to an organization, to a, a skill, you know, a group of people. You commit yourself for 4 years plus the 3 years of middle school. That's 7 years that you commit yourself to a group and to an activity. You need to be celebrated. You need to be celebrated. And we make a big deal of it. Our seniors are celebrated a lot, and we've really tried to work very hard this year for our seniors to make them feel special. All right, so it's important to celebrate student successes. They need to know that you are proud of them, you appreciate their work. It helps to put into perspective the amount of work that went into the school year. I think students in a normal school year, especially, forget how much work they put into the business of band. So our students work so hard for us. We work hard for them. They work hard for us. Let's celebrate them. Let's make sure that they understand that and realize how hard they've worked, how much effort they've put into it, and then celebrate that moment when they realize, wow, I have really committed myself to something. We need to celebrate those moments. Um, Students often don't realize how much progress they've made. So a lot of times they'll say stuff like, I'm just not that good. You know, I'm in a lower band. I'm not that good, blah, 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 blah. But you're so much better than you were when you got here. So a lot of times, especially the freshmen, will hear the wind ensemble at our spring concert and say, you know, there's no way I could do that. Not yet, not yet. But you didn't think you could do this when you got here in August, and now look at you, you know. So a lot of times they don't even realize that they've made gains and they have done great work. It's our job to remind them that, hey, you've put in the work. You deserve to be celebrated. And then how better to celebrate our band family than with a tasty meal? That's the biggest part that I will miss, is just seeing how happy people are when they're able to just sit around a table and eat together, break bread together. It's a big deal. And it really emphasizes that whole idea of family that we try to instill in our students. Family doesn't always get along, family doesn't always like each other, but we can sit down at a table and celebrate each other and enjoy each other's company over some good food. So the band banquet is a huge thing that is a big hole that's missing from our lives right now, but we're going to try to make this virtual version really good for our senior class and all of our students. Now, senior tributes traditionally at our school happen at both our concert and at our banquet. So when our seniors, when we get to our final piece, one of our final was never, it used to be the final piece. And I was like, it's just too sad. We can't do this. We moved it up one. And so we do the senior tribute and we play Old Scottish Melody, and it's a beautiful arrangement. And this is something that was happening before I got there. And so we have continued that tradition. We play Old Scottish Melody, and the parents actually come, all of the seniors, regardless of which band they're in, they come on stage and they play with the wind ensemble, because that's where most of our seniors are. And their parents and sometimes their siblings come on stage with them and stand behind them while they play. And the audience gets to see the support system that's literally been behind them, holding them up the entire time they've been in band since sixth grade. And then the parents actually get to see a view of me that they never get to see, and that's my face while I'm conducting, and they get to see the interaction between me and the kids because they're always behind me, so they can't see my face. And so it's a really beautiful moment. They've seen enough more tears than I would like to admit, but sometimes the moment just overwhelms you, especially when you've built those bonds and those connections with your students, and you know that this is one of the last things that they will play under your baton. So senior tributes are a big deal. Then of course we celebrate our seniors at our banquet as well. I spoke about that earlier with the slideshow and the tributes. And so yeah, we want to make a big deal out of our seniors. So since we've had so many holes and so many things have been taken away from our kids this year, especially our graduating seniors, we wanted to do something special this year. So we we decided to do something a little different. So we're creating videos. Um, we honor them and their parents on our final spring concert. But this year, we also, for our marching band and concert band and color guard seniors, we did a thing. We did photos. We did professional photo shoots. So unfortunately, all of our seniors weren't able to make it for this. This is our first year doing this, and I would highly recommend it. I've been wanting to do this for years, and I I was put in touch with a great photographer that came to our school and photographed our students in their home school, which is great. And so this gave them an opportunity to be acknowledged for the work that they do. Band is such a unique beast, right? Our students spend 4 years growing up right in front of us. We watch them become young adults. We watch them truly get ready to go out into the world and be the next generation of consumers, producers, um, leaders, policymakers. We activists, we see these students blossom. And I remember this group of kids when they came in ninth grade, and they were just the cutest, sweetest, hardest working bunch, and they never changed. They just blossomed and bloomed into great young people that care about their community and care about their peers and care about the world and are working to make it a better place. And so um, they have truly become the mentors for our younger students. They really are looked up to as not just musicians, but as people, because they're just good people. Um, they also have devoted a great deal of their time and energy to the band program. So while other kids may be, you know, at the pumpkin patch on a Saturday afternoon with their friends, these kids were at marching competition. While other kids are on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, everyone else is going home. They're loading a bus to go be the last band to close out large group one year. And so they're just their band kids are just a unique beast. They devote so much of themselves to band and to our band family. We want them to always feel that they can come home and feel that they are welcome. These pictures are going on the wall, and we want them to feel like I can come home after I graduate and visit, and I won't feel like I'm out of place. I'll always feel at home here because I'm valued. And that is always my biggest goal for honoring our seniors at our awards and our concerts. I want them to feel valued. I want them to feel that they are going to be remembered always. So if you want to ask me about our photographer that we found, I will highly recommend, and I will pass that information on to you. Just contact me in the discussion area, and I would be glad to pass that information along. He was incredible. All right. So the last thing that we do um, is formal and informal, but some years is more formal than others. This year is going to be very informal because we've been through so much. I just want the kids to talk it out. It's an end of the year recap and survey. So we have the students think about some things and think about the year. First thing, what went well this year in class? What went well in performances? straight up, just no, well, it should have been, nope. What went well in the class? What went well in performances? Um, and we have them focus on that part first because they oftentimes want to talk about this part. What could have gone better? Everybody's had a dumpster fire moment. Everybody, every band, every class, every teacher, everyone has had a dumpster fire moment where you're just like, oh my goodness, that could have gone so much better. Focus on the positive first. What went well? What could have gone better? Not what went poorly, but what could have gone better. What could have gone better from day to day? What could have gone better on this last concert, on your large group performance, on your very first concert at the beginning of the school year? What could have gone better? Have them discuss that. And then, what did you accomplish this year? What did you as an individual accomplish? And then what did we accomplish as a collective group? And I think it's really important to force them to realize that, you know what, I couldn't play that, for a woodwind player, I couldn't play that concert E flat scale 2 octaves, or I couldn't play that concert, A flat scale 2 octaves, and now I can. And I'm so proud of myself. Or, a brass player, I just couldn't get those high G's out on my trumpet. I just couldn't do it, but now I can. What did you accomplish this year? No matter how big or small, I couldn't read 6/8, and now I can. I was afraid of 6/8, didn't know how it worked, and now I know exactly what 6/8 is and how you count it and how to break it down. So there's always going to be something that they accomplished, and you have to make them think of it. You have to make them bring it to the front of their mind, because that is the fuel. That is what will get them excited about the next year. And they need to feel proud of themselves for something. And then the last thing we have them talk about is, what is your goal for next school year? What is it that you want to do next school year? And we always do goal setting at the beginning of the year, but I like to see where their head is before they go home for the summer break and they've had time to kind of marinate on things. I want to know right there in that fiery, I'm fresh off the concert. It's the end of the school year. I'm really realizing how empowered I feel because I've done so well this year. What do I want to do next year? And then we remind them of the things they write down and the things that they say when they are trying to sell themselves short the next school year. So for me, the most important thing for the end of the year activities is to remind students why they participate in band. Why are they there? And it's typically to make music and to make friends, and that's it. It's really that simple. You'll hear kids say to have fun, but I feel like the fun is wrapped up in that making music and making friends. And if they can do those two things, if they can make music and they can make friends, they will keep coming back. We just have to remind them that they did make good music and they did make good friends so that they don't, forget. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we need to remind them that there were good moments, there were fun moments, even when band was not what we thought it was going to be. But there were good moments, and there were times when you were able to laugh and joke and have fun with each other, even though it wasn't ideal. So, most important thing is to remind them why they participate in band in the first place. All right, so that's all I have for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me using the Godot Community 6 through 12 band discussion board. I would love to hear what you guys do in your classrooms and for the end of the year activities and how you are making it work in this new reality that we're in. I won't say new normal because nothing about the world right now is normal. But in this new reality, what do you do to celebrate your students at the end of the year? And how do you close out your year? What are your priorities? So I'd love to hear from you. Now, these are all of our social media pages here. Feel free to peruse that Fine Arts Facebook page as well as the Fine Arts Twitter. for the Georgia Department of Education. And check us out there on YouTube and on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So it was great talking with you today, and I hope that I will see you at our next webinar in a couple of weeks. Take care. We're almost to the end. Bye.